Hello, good morning. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my topic is on training the employee for improved performance, the mediating role of employee performance appraisal. I am looking at, to summarize this, I'm looking at the difficulty of transfer of training, transfer of learning into the performance of the employee's duty at work. So the background to the study, the most skilled workforce, the skilled workforce is very important for the productivity of every organization. And most of the organizations have identified training as a means of ensuring that their employees are equipped to perform well. So without training, employees will be incompetent. They can't perform well. Organizational productivity will be low. Time and money will be lost due to mistakes, and the organization would eventually lose its customers. So I am looking at employee appraisal as a management tool that, if it's used properly, it will ensure the successful transfer of training. Now, what is my problem statement? The problem is that even though businesses devote a significant portion of their budget to training, most of them are not seeing the expected results of better performance of their employees. Most employees who undergo training are not able to transfer the taught competencies into the performance of their duties. So why am I doing this study? I'm just doing it to find out the extent to which the employee is involved in identifying his or her training needs, and then when he should go on training. Because I think that if the employee decides on when he should go on training, he will devote more time to concentrate on the training. And then whether after training, what reinforcement is there of the competencies that are learned. We all know that if you learn something, you have to use it and reuse it for it to become part of you. So what competencies are there? What are my research questions? I'm asking the extent to which employees who go on training, how are they involved in identifying their training needs such that we send them on training? And then, is the employee involved in when he or she should go on training? And then what factors account for the employee's inability to integrate and transfer what he learns during training into his work? And then, is it important at all if post-training mentoring and monitoring and evaluation will help the employee to be able to master the skills that he learns to work with? What's the significance of the study? I believe that the findings of this research, together with the recommendations that I make at the end of the study, will inform businesses on how to make training more effective and beneficial to the performance development of their employees in order to improve the overall productivity of their employees. Review of related literature. I do, with my literature review, here are the topics that I looked at. I looked at employee performance in relation to organizational productivity, and then I looked at why you should train the employee at all, and then I looked at why training fails. Why is it that when employees go on training, they are not able to transfer the training into their performance at work? And then I looked at the role that appraisal of the employee's performance. The regular appraisal of his performance at work will help him to master the skills that he learned. What methodology did I use? My research design was a descriptive survey method that was used since data was collected on an already existing situation from a sample to generalize the findings on the population. And then for my target population, I picked a total of 58 employees who had attended training in the last 24 months. These comprise employees at predetermined levels. It means that I decided to pick respondents from senior management, from middle level officers, from junior officers as well. And then my research target area, I picked 5 institutions, 5 organizations in the Adan West district of the Greater Accra region of Ghana. Data collection instrument. It's a self-designed structured questionnaire whose items were derived from the research questions that guide the study. In my data analysis, I collected out of the 58 questionnaires that I gave out, I collected 52. 52 were well completed. That's what I used in analyzing the study. I used the SPSS package for analysis, and then I used the descriptive statistics. I used frequencies, total scores, and on responses, and also percentages. I presented my results in tables. What are my research findings? I found out that more than 50% of the respondents said they are hardly involved in the decision on which training they should attend. So it means that employees are just sent on training. They don't have any say in what training they should attend. And then 44% said that they didn't have any say in when they should go for training. As many as 78% said they lack post-training coaching, mentoring, and evaluation in order for them to be able to master and transfer the skills that they learned. And then 94% agreed that post-training coaching and mentoring is very essential for them to be effective in the transfer of what they have learned. The other factors that the respondents said affected the transfer of learning into performance is that they said they lack supervisors. The supervisors who are supposed to coach them, they also lack training in order to be able to coach them and mentor them. And then they also lack the follow-up training programs in order to improve on what they have learned. And then they also said that training programs are usually too short for them to be able to learn and understand very well what they are taught. The conclusions are that 1, performance appraisal will ensure that employee works with his immediate supervisor to identify his weak points before he's sent on training. In that manner, the employee receives training that is appropriate to his needs, that will solve his weak points. And then performance appraisal will also ensure that the trainee gets the needed post-training support, which is very necessary to help him master what he has learned. Recommendations. I recommend after the study that the immediate manager and members of the department of the trainee must fully support him in the transfer of his training onto his job. So in the first place, they must agree on the training that the employee needs training. So they must support the training. And then conscious efforts must be made to create the opportunity for the trainee to practice what he learns at training. And then efforts must also be made to provide the necessary resources that the employee needs to practice the training. If the employee goes to learn computer skills and he hasn't got a computer to practice on, then what he goes to learn is useless. Then there should be enough time for the employee to practice his skill. Management must also ensure that the trainee is retained at the job where he would practice the skill. If you send an employee to learn how to operate a machine, he must be kept where he can learn how to operate the machine, practice and learn it well. And then, since old habits are difficult to change, I think management must make planned efforts to guide the transfer of the change of habit. And then, of course, there should be a way of rewarding an employee who is able to transfer what he has learned into the good performance of his duty. That ends my presentation.